May I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? Once again, it's Monday night, and I got these hot topics we got in these YouTube streets. Of course, I'm going to bring up my co-host Gary. Just a minute. Let me go ahead and introduce myself first. I am Grace from Embrace the Grace, and this is a channel where we embrace the truth, your truth, and we have the uncomfortable, messy, awkward conversations because they're necessary. And we learn a lot here. Shoot, I'm learning a lot while I'm doing research and trying to embrace things to become a better version of ourselves. Just remember that the link is up. You're welcome to come up and talk, put your 2 cents in and talk your shit. Just remember, be respectful. Respect one another. Don't overtalk the host. Don't overtalk the guests. And wait until somebody finish speaking before you interject. Other than that, you can find me, of course, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Snapchat. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my co-host, Gary D. He is going to introduce himself, and he is going to tell us where we can find him. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hey Grace, what's up?
Not much. You know what we do on a Monday night. And by the way, to all my embracers, my show will be moving to Thursday night starting June 8th. Okay, yeah. And you'll also be finding me on the JVJ network. So I'll be streaming there as well. So definitely go check out the network, and you'll see me streaming there, and you'll see me at Global Media. So I'm all over these YouTube streets because I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to make a difference in people's lives. So Gary, go ahead. Tell us who you are and where we can find you, sir.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us again. My name is Gary D. I'm the co-host here on Embrace the Grace podcast. But I'm also president of Boardwalk Global Media. We have a couple of podcasts that we do. Currently, we're on hiatus now, but our main podcast is called The Real Discussion, which comes on every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're on all the platforms. We're going to be returning back mid-July, so be ready, everyone. Be ready. I'm also owner of ESI Global Group, a boutique management and consulting company. I have a hip hop artist from Australia named Baba T, who y'all probably seen him around in Facebook, on YouTube, and in some magazines. So I've been busy doing that, and also helping out my dear good friend here, Grace, with Embrace the Grace, and we are making this podcast pop off.
Absolutely, because hey, look, Gary, we are growing slowly but surely. I've been getting so many offers to buy subscribers, and I'm not doing that shit, Gary. I want my channel to grow organically. I want us to grow together, because when I see a lot of these YouTubers out here with thousands and thousands of subscribers, but their views and their likes are not matching the numbers, that's only letting me know that they bought their subscribers, and we don't do that over here.
Well, see, here's the thing: what some of these people fail to realize, and actually what Apple and Spotify just said the other day, like, if they find out that you've bought subscribers, they're kicking you off their platform, right? That's for artists, that's for podcasts. So it really doesn't pay, especially if you're a new artist or a new podcast coming up, because you want to have, an organic following, right? because when you have an organic
Absolutely.
following, it's a lot easier to monetize because you know who your dedicated listeners are.
Absolutely. And you guys, if you like what you're listening and you like what you're seeing, please support the channel. You know, I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, so I can't monetize through YouTube. So don't feel shame. Drop that Cash App, you know, because me and Gary, we take a lot of time, energy, and effort to put this together. You guys don't realize, only the real YouTube content creators know how much time this takes. Well, without any further ado, we're going to talk about a topic tonight that it kind of rolled into this topic, Gary. Last week, I had the privilege and honor to interview an alpha male because I wanted my lady embracers to really see and hear what an alpha male looks like and how he talks. And it was a great interview. Still getting a lot of views. We're rerunning the show and we still get a lot of good reviews, and it was good. And then this rolled into tonight's show. We're going to learn the top 7 traits of the different type of males, because a lot of us ladies, we say we want an alpha male. We say we want a type of kind of man. But Gary, then we end up with a totally different type of man. And I have to admit, I'm one of these ladies too, because I'm attracted to an alpha male. I want an alpha male. I need an alpha male. But at the end of the day, a lot of times that's not what I end up with. And I wanted to know why. But to learn the why, you got to know the how first. You got to learn the different types of males to see what's more compatible with your personality. Like I said, I may say I want an alpha male, but maybe that's not my match. It's not being compatible, and maybe that's why a lot of relationships are not working. And then you got a lot of males around here saying they're alpha males, and they're really not.
They're really not. Right. I mean,
look.
Just briefly. So alpha males and sigma males, they're at the top.
Yes, sir.
And primarily with the both of those, and just a brief difference, a sigma male is not as, is more behind the scenes, right? He doesn't want the spotlight, right? Mm-hmm. But women tend to, I guess, be attracted to alpha and sigma males and want to have the fun with them, but then they turn around and then go marry a beta male or a zeta male because because they're safe, right? It's the safe bet.
Not only that, Gary, it takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of listening skills to be with an alpha male, especially if you're a strong-willed, dominant woman as well. They're not gonna play that shit. They're really not. You know what I'm saying? So either we got to change our ways as women, or we got to change the type of males that we attract, because it ain't easy to be with an alpha male. And I've learned through my research and my experience that it takes a lot of work and determination and discipline to be with an alpha male. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. So with that being said, I got my notes. We're gonna learn. I got some videos, and hopefully I put the link up there for any of my embracers who want to come up here and talk their stuff. You're welcome to. Again, just be respectful. Don't overtalk me or the other guests, because unfortunately I have to do what I have to do. So we do. So with that being said, Gary, I think that there's 7 types of males. And of course, like you just said, is that, and you can also share with the sigma male is strong, determined, clear about his goals. With his intimate charm, he faces little difficulty attracting women. Unlike beta males, alpha males have a magnanimous personality and highly confident and making decisions. So what are the traits? What are the usual traits that you see when you come across an alpha male? So here we go. He controls his emotions and acknowledges his weaknesses. He doesn't let anything rule his life. He has purpose. He stays on his purpose. He doesn't let anything distract his purpose. He holds himself to a strong posture. He's courageous. He's fearless. He's not afraid to make decisions and say what's on his mind. And he's not afraid to say no. You know, a lot of men around here are scared to say no to their women. Not the alpha male. He'll say no, and he maintains his physical health. That's another big thing, because not only is an alpha male, but you have the look of an alpha male. So that's what they say is an alpha male, Gary. Would you happen to agree with what I'm saying, or do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, for the most part, I mean, you're right there, where it's, they like to be in control. They like spotlight. They're very confident in the things that they do. They're confident in their leadership skills. When they have people working for them, they look at a lot of betas to do the work for them, right? So they're
Great
very
delegators.
right. They're great, right? So and betas look up to them because they want to be alpha, right?
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, when you get a good alpha male, then he's very protective of his people and his environment and his work area and things like that. So now the other end is that you could get somewhere they can become very narcissistic, and that's like one of the major downfalls of an alpha male.
They can be characterized as maybe a bully sometimes. They tend to be a bit aggressive. But if you're aggressive with good intentions to level up and motivate others, that's okay. But when you're, like you said, a narcissist, then that's a little bit different. I'm going to give you a perfect story of what I felt when I felt the presence of an alpha male. It was when I was coaching at the time, and all the coaches were in the room, and you know how you have drafts and you pick the players and whatever. So excuse me. So we're all there, and all of a sudden this gentleman walks in. I mean, I'm talking about, he was all suited up, cufflinks in his shirt, shoes, briefcase, and just walk in, and he just took the whole air in the room. He didn't ask for respect. He demanded it. The whole room got quiet when he walked in, and everybody looked up, and he looked at everybody and said, "Good evening." And it's like a guy got up in his chair. I'm like, that's the difference. It's the self-confidence that you walk into a room, the high self-esteem where nobody can tell you shit. And that is really the true trait of an alpha male. But they also know how to turn it on and off. They're not just out here being alpha males and rolling through people. So that it was one example when I encountered with an alpha male. So now we got the opposite end of the spectrum, which is a beta male. Okay. The beta male has a moderate approach to life, and his nice guy personality gets him by. Then of course he gets taken for a ride because of that. But typically he's likable, and he is more sensitive, less aggressive, and much more grounded. So what are the traits of a beta male? He constantly wants to spend time with you. He remembers your birthday. These are little things that beta supposedly, I don't think this is beta male traits, because I mean, a guy should remember these things in a relationship, but it is what it is. This is the information I got, and I'm just relaying it. His main objective is not sex, yet he's attentive in bed. He's communicative, he's creative. It's okay to stay at home, and he is not blazed or he's not domesticated. So I don't want to use the word simp because that's the new word in the YouTube streets that they're using, a simp or wimp. And you know what, Food Channel, that's a great way to say it. Beta equals ordinary. That's a good way. That's a very basic. You know what I'm saying? I would even go a little bit deeper and be like, he's complacent with mediocrity. He's okay with just being okay.
Well,
And to me,
beta
that's
is
not
also
okay.
beta is also submissive, right? So they tend to, they tend to, part of their natural being is being submissive. So they're not going to, stir the pot. They're going to want to please, right? So whatever they're told to do, they're going to do.
Exactly. They're people pleasers. And because they're such people pleasers, they're nice. They're the nice guys. And you know the famous saying, nice guys finish last. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing with being nice, but don't be taken for a fool either. You see what I'm saying? You got to have that balance. Let me get into my comments and acknowledge everybody that's here. Mr. Phillip, it's been a long time. If you're still here, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. You've been sorely missed. Don't forget to press that like button. You come in. And then Amanda said, hey, is that one of yours? Amanda, is that one of your people's, Gary?
Yeah, she's from Australia. She's
Hi, Amanda.
She's Baba T's mother.
Nice. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate you supporting me because I know you support Gary. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I got my girl sis, my girl Grace. She's my sis here on the show. She might as well be the co-host. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. And then I also have Andrew Wheeler. He's in. He said, hi, Grace. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to press the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Trust me, you're not going to be disappointed. Then I have seen you here before, Food Channel. Thank you for coming in. I see you lurking. I see you. Press that like button, okay? And subscribe if you haven't yet. Then he said, boring is not something women are interested in. Well, Food Channel, I would say that comes with age. Maybe when you're younger, you don't want boring. And I get it. I see all these 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds divorcing their husband, talking about they're bored in their marriage. But you know what? Little do they know, they ain't shit out there in these streets. They need to stay. Mm-hmm. They need to stay with their husbands because they're gonna have a harsh reality. What did the beloved Kevin Samuels used to say? You're gonna hit a brick wall. Okay, trust me. I'm living that right now, but it is what it is. So now, second type of male. So we went over alpha, Gary. We went over beta. So now we're going over the gamma. There's the gamma male. The gamma male loves having fun, but doesn't shrug off his responsibility simultaneously. He is adventurous, fun-loving, and tends to get restless if he's left idle for too long. An alpha male may mature into a gamma male because males are more refined. What are their traits when you see them? Ladies, you need to learn so you know what kind of male you're dealing with. He's knowledgeable, kind, and empathetic, hopeless romantic, believes in love and depth should value the woman. He misunderstands women and struggles in dating, and he adapts the secret king delusions for some reason. And that's really what they had on gamma male. So I guess a gamma male is working on being an alpha male. He's stuck in between. Is he a gamma or alpha? So what did you have to say about a gamma male? What do you have to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for what you said, it's about right. I mean, they are, they're very adventurous, right? I think that they, a lot of them is happy with the position that they're at. I think that there are a lot of women out there who like adventure, but then there's other traits that a gamma male may have that they may not like. But for those that do uh, uh, attract those, for those gamma males that do attract women, it's that adventurous side, because there's some women that do like the adventure.
Absolutely. And I guess they can be adventurous together. So with that being said, I'm going to break up the little mood here, and I'm going to show a video so we can see the visual of some things. I have 3 videos, but there's one that I really like. That's not a long one, so I'll leave that for later. So let me set this up. Give me just a second so I can share this one. Just a second. Let's see. Here we go. Share. It's coming up right now. Give it just a second. So, come on. Where are we at? Just a minute. Give it just a minute. Can you hear it, Gary?
Can I hear it? No, no.
Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Give me just a minute. Hold on 1 second. Share screen. Give me just a moment. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. Oh, come on. All right, hold on. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Give me just a second. I can hear it, but you guys can't hear it.
No,
So
I
give
can't
me
hear
just
it.
a second. Well, let's continue while I still work on this on the side. Give me just.
All right.
You can? Okay. You can hear it?
No, I can't.
Okay. We'll go back to it. Let me stop it in my ear though. Okay, let me stop it in my ear. So then the next one is the Omega male. The Omega male is fun-loving but non-aspirational individual who is reluctant to grow up by embracing classic social imperatives like marriage, family, and holding down a regular job. His particular traits are his particular interests and unusual pursuits. He's helpful, sincere, and friendly, non-competitive, satisfied with his means, discard other opinions of him. He's an introvert and he's relaxed. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, that's pretty right. Yeah.
So it's kind of going down the scale as we talk about it. And I got Braxton, the snake fiend over here. He's lurking and listening. How you doing, sir? So what do you have to say on the topic, Braxton, of these type of males that I'm introducing for the ladies, so they can know more traits and make better decisions on the type of men that they're picking? and he said, the Food Channel said that's an insult. I don't know what that means, my dear. What are you trying to say? And then welcome to come up here, and then Embrace the Grace. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to press the like and share button, and definitely subscribe. And then Braxton says from Angry Man's channel, I just got in here. Well, thank you for coming, and let me give a shout out to Angry Man. You know, he's been rocking with me, and I've been rocking with him, and he's really helped me come. Hey, you know, I rock who rocks with me. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's got to be. And it's funny that your name is Snake the Fiend, because there are a lot of snakes here on these YouTube streets. They make pretend that they want to help. They make pretend that they want to be part of your team, and then, you know, they just fall off. And that's okay, because that's a part of life. You know, it is what it is. Okay. And then let's see what Food Channel said. He said, bet, give me 5. I know that's right. I try to do that every week. Me and Gary try to do that every week so we can become better versions of ourselves. I want to be able to pick the right man. I'm single right now. You know what I'm saying? I got to pick one that's compatible with my personality. So don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I'm learning just as much as y'all learning. You know, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. And if you're feeling some type of way of what I'm saying, then maybe you should just go ahead and, you know, I keep one of these here. Look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, and see what's going on within yourself. So with that being said, we went over the Omega. Now we got the Sigma male. The Sigma male is a recessive alpha male presenting misguiding men a chance to be at the very top of this fictional hierarchy without loud, boisterous character that the alpha brings. So I guess he's a quiet. He moves in silence.
Well, what a Sigma male is, and actually it became popular within the last maybe 15 years or so, is that they share a lot of same traits as the alpha, except the Sigma is more quiet, right? Sigma doesn't want the spotlight, right? Yeah, he doesn't want the spotlight, but he is a communicator. He's a team player. He's also a leader, right? So one of the traits that one of the key traits that a Sigma male and an alpha male traits, they're both leaders, right? Whereas alpha, he wants to, in some cases, want to lead by force, if you will. Whereas the Sigma wants, you know, a collective effort, right? You know, he wants to set the example. He wants everyone to understand, you know, here's what we're doing. Here's the plan and stuff like that.
I hear you. So he sounds more like the co-pilot. You got the alpha male, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the co-pilot. He probably does all the work, but the alpha male gets all the credit.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes a Sigma male can be
too. That's why I keep.
But sometimes a Sigma male can be a threat to an alpha male, right? Because again, it's when it comes to leadership qualities, a Sigma male also has the leadership qualities, and alpha, they want to be in the spotlight, right? But a Sigma is not going to argue or fight to be in a spotlight. But if he has to be in a spotlight to be a leader, he's going to do that. And, you know, and some alpha males, they got issues. You know, they rather deal with, they would rather deal with a beta, because a beta is not going to question, right? Whereas a Sigma is more on their level, and it's going to be like, you know, an alpha, and see, a Sigma is another type of alpha male, but not boisterous and out and up front. You follow me?
Yeah. So he moves in silence.
He moves exactly.
He moves. He's still an alpha male, but he moves in silence. And
like he's the guy. Okay. See, just as you said. So an alpha male will walk in a room, right, and suck out all the air, if you will, right?
Okay.
A Sigma is not
Okay.
worried about that. A Sigma would be the guy that is sitting in the corner with someone, but he has the power to shut the room down within just by saying something. You understand? You know, whispering
Yep.
something to somebody or talking to this person, and then the whole room is shut down. That's a Sigma male, right? Where and then also too, Sigmas are very mysterious, right? So, and with that, it's where alphas is more they women are, I guess, attracted to the action and the outgoingness. With Sigmas, women are attracted to the mystery, right? Because they're very guarded. They're only talkative when they need to be talkative.
Mhm.
Right. So, and I think as we're going through the list, I think some of the women out there and even some of the men, it's going to be like, wait a minute. Okay, I think that might be me. Right. I think that might be.
Exactly. And speaking of that, look at their traits: nonconformist, self-sufficient and independent, adaptable, doesn't need the social hierarchy to thrive, self-prioritizes, loves to be alone because companionship slows him down, and he doesn't need attention and strives to be invisible. So everything you just said is exactly what I have here. So the best way to describe a signal male is that he's alpha, but he's alpha and he moves in silence.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He need to tell the whole world that he's an alpha because
he doesn't have to. Right. He doesn't have to tell it. Right. Exactly. He doesn't have to tell the whole world that he's an alpha male. His actions are going to prove it. And when I say his actions, just the way he moves. Like if you ever been around someone and you feel like, wow, there's something mysterious about that guy, right? Or this guy. More than likely, he's a Sigma male.
Absolutely. And let me get on these comments. So Miss Doreen, hi hon, thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. She said hello, embrace the grace, and then she gave you a shout out.
Oh.
Hello, Gary. Okay, and then I got Braxton the Snake Fiend. He's talking about Louisiana young buck in the building. Okay, come on, doesn't matter that you're a young buck. This is the time to learn different things. This is perfect. And then Black on Both Sides says Sigma enjoys being solo and also keeps their circle very small. It's hard
very true. He's right. Yes.
Sigma's trust. You're absolutely right, and we just both said that. So good observation. And then Braxton said again, the silent male is the most cunning because a silent assassin knows how to move. Yeah, they move like a snake, right, Braxton?
Well, here's the thing. Now with Sigma, some people will say that Sigmas are manipulative, right? And if you get a bad one, that could probably be the case. But I would say the word that I would like to use, Sigmas can be very convincing, right? Right? The Sigma will convince you of something to do before you even know. Huh?
Can they be persuasive? Can we use that word as well?
Sigma's very right. He's very a Sigma can be very persuasive. He can be very convincing, right? To get you to do something before you even knew that you want to do it, right? So, but in some cases, some people would use the word manipulative, and sometimes that can be taken in the wrong context, right? Because
of course, they want to put a negative connotation to it.
Right. But what it is that if a Sigma sees something, because a Sigma looks at the whole playing field. So, and if he knows that he has to say X, Y, and Z, or to lay the groundwork to get you to do this, so it helps the whole playing field, that's what he's going to do. You follow me?
Absolutely.
So, and that's not. And in business, that's not a bad thing. And even in a relationship, that's not a bad thing, because a Sigma is always observant and planning ahead. That's why he's quiet. That's why he's always thinking, and I think that's what people, need to understand.
And then Miss misconstrue it for being manipulative when they're actually just being alert and pre-planning things, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's
You know,
not.
they plan ahead.
You want to be
They
observant.
don't piss poor plan.
You
Absolutely.
see, you
And the
want to
great.
be.
Go ahead.
You want to be, you want to be observant. Now, with an alpha male, more times than not, he wants to say, this is how it is. Like in some cases, there may not be the preparation, right? A Sigma is going to make sure the preparations happen so it doesn't fail. You
Okay.
understand?
Absolutely. So a prevention, he prevents versus waiting for something to happen.
Exactly.
Okay. I get it. And then Grace says, sounds like the alpha male is more assertive. Yeah, he's the most assertive of all of them, Grace. He is on the top of the triangle, but that can be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. It's depending on how you move as an alpha male. And again, us ladies, we say we want an alpha male, but a lot of us can't handle an alpha male. And that's why we... Go ahead.
But also too, in talking about the two, it's how you talk to people, right? Right. An alpha is going to talk the way that he wants to, going to be very maybe assertive, dominating, stuff like that. A Sigma is going to be like, let's talk about this. Let's see how we can work this out. I mean, there'll still be the firmness. You'll still feel the security in what he's saying, but it's not overpowering and demanding. You follow me?
Yeah, I hear you. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
It's how, exactly.
Okay. And Maxon came back and said, an inclusive guy, a nice guy can be a deadly man. You're absolutely right. I know you've heard of the saying, kill him with kindness. So a lot of times, a lot of guys say, oh, nice guys come last. And that may be true, but they only allow you to come last if you allow them to come last. So I do have somebody on the panel. I need to see you on camera. You don't have to be on camera on the panel, but I have to at least see that you're a real person, because a lot of funny stuff happens. So you're in the back room right now. Just wave at me that you're a human. I'm good with that, and then you can get off the cam if you don't mind. I would appreciate that. And then Braxton came back and said, the angry man, Mr. Kevin Samuels, and Mr. Dennis Sperlin, all rocks, and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. And yes. Okay, Simon dropped off. I guess he didn't want to show himself, so that's why I make them show themselves, Gary. And then he said, right, ma'am, like a snake, and be damned to those who wants to mess with a snake pit. What was that, Gary?
I said,
Gary,
you have to. I mean, I said you have to, in terms of checking people who's coming on. You want to make sure that, you have the proper right people coming on. That's going to add to the show, and not going to, there's these trolls out here in these YouTube streets, right?
I mean, sometimes they're good for business, but you're not going to come on my panel and I don't know what you look like or what you're talking about. And Royal Hustler Promotions Company, they welcome.
Renee, you're going to meet her when you come to New York City. You're going to meet her when you come to New York City. She's my PR rep. She's awesome. She's super awesome.
Is she the awesome gal that's working on my flyer? Is that the one?
No, no. That's somebody else.
Okay. Well, Renee, thank you for coming. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you supporting Gary, because you supporting Gary supports me. So I appreciate you. Just don't forget to press the like button. That's like you putting your keys down and taking your shoes off when you come into our panel. So, and just chill and enjoy the ride. And then Black on Both Sides says Sigmas can be very vengeful if crossed and are very tactical in their approach. Well, Black on Both Sides, you You sound like you know what you're talking about when it comes to this. It sounds like that's who you are. You should come on the panel and
The
speak your mind because you speak.
he knows the deal. He knows the deal. Like he's right. He's right. He's absolutely right.
And then Braxton came back and said, yes, Miss ETG, I like to learn. That's why I love education. Learning is an everlasting thing. I'm not all that smart whatsoever, but I like new information. See, right there, words matter, Braxton. And the fact that you're saying that you're not all that smart is already telling yourself that you're not smart. Okay? And we're only as smart as we want to be. So let's change the wording, because words matter, so you are smart. And the fact that you like to learn and the fact that you like new information means that you're open-minded and you're willing to observe new things. So over here, Braxton, words matter. So don't say that you're not all that smart, because you may know a lot of things about a lot of different things. So again, words matter. So then, so now we're moving on to the Zeta.
Mm-hmm.
But the Zeta man rejected the traditional expectations of being a man. He is a provider, defender, and protector, but he rejects stereotypes and doesn't conform to the convention beliefs. He refuses to be seduced and shamed by anyone and confidently strives to the rhythm of his own drums. What are his traits? He's a highly independent man, would find it challenging to fit in, self-aware, and knows his beliefs. He's authentically lives life and is true to himself, potential to become a high successful in life, and he is not distracted by social pressures. So to me, that sounds like that's a young one coming up. He's still trying to figure himself out. He doesn't allow things to distract him. He's on his purpose. That's important, especially if you're working your way up to be a Sigma and an Alpha male. Because everybody, I don't think that, we're kind of born with certain traits, Gary, but I think a lot of this is learned behavior as well.
Absolutely. It's learned behavior.
And how you're raised, what kind of environment you're in, how your mother and father teach you things, your friends, because in a crew with your friends, there's always a leader, there's always a joker, there's always a slacker, there's always one, hey, can I hold $20? There's always the one you got to pay his way for everything because he ain't never got no money. So you can kind of tell who's gonna be who in the crew. I used to have this friend, and he was absolutely gorgeous. He looked like Teddy Riley, and his crew wasn't the best looking crew. And I asked him straight up, I said, yo, why you not hanging out with men that look like you? He was like, well, shit, because I look like the superstar with this crew. You know what I'm saying? I died laughing when he saw me. He's like, because I'm the one that gets all the ladies, and I bring all the ladies to the crew. And once I pick mine, then the others can go to my crew. I'm like, so you have this, you see the mentality of it. He was definitely an alpha, but he was more of a Sigma. He was quiet with it. He knew how to strut his stuff, but at certain times, he didn't always do it. He knew when to sit back and like you said, be behind the scenes, and he knew when to get to his attention. And it was the funniest thing because it always worked for him. It always worked for him. So, and then now we're getting to those really are the 7 types of those are the 7s. We went through that pretty quick, but the main thing that I want people to get out of this is that everybody's different. And there could be a lot of traits of all these different type of males that make up a male, but it is what works for you. And for us ladies, we have to be able to choose men that works for us. and that's compatible with us. You cannot say you want an alpha male if you're combative, if you're argumentative, if you're not willing to submit, because it's not gonna fly with an alpha male. It really isn't. So usually women like that would tend to get a beta male because they're easy to control. They're easy to run. You know, they're just easy to handle because a beta male is not gonna give any pushback.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've heard of you've heard of what's it saying, that how there's some women that like to date down, right? Meaning that they want to be able to date a guy that they can control.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Oh, we got Simon back in the house. Let's see. Let's see what Simon got. How you doing tonight, Simon?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. How are you?
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
I'm
can hear
good.
you.
How are you? Welcome to the show. Yep, I can
Gary
hear you.
D, Gary D.
We can hear you loud and clear. So
Embrace the
Simon,
grace.
tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and where we can find you. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I'm not too hot on that though. Like, I've been in the manosphere for a minute, but yeah, my channel's
Okay.
small. I keep it small that way because most of my subscribers
That's okay.
are like
That's
content
okay.
creators. And we talk about real stuff. So you get a lot of people out here that's doing this full time. I ain't a full time YouTuber. You know, I got my job and I'm cool with that. I got my children. I'm cool with that. I got my life.
Hear you.
So yeah, I'm
Well,
real.
welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, Hink sent me, man. That's why. Hink's the guy.
So tell me, what would you like to add to this conversation? What would you like to put on the table with this?
Well, there's many variations of what a man is, and I think that can, in essence, be an issue because it's confusing, especially to women. Like when you have all these different sort of variations of a man, then how does a woman turn around and understand a singular point? Because in my experience, I've been through like a 10-year marriage. Women like to be quite straightforward. They like to just understand, this is what it is, like, and this is what we're getting involved with. Anything that depreciates from that becomes confusing because women are just not built like that. Men can actually deviate, but they don't like to deviate too much. They don't like to go outside the box too much. You're talking about maybe 5 different thought processes. We're human beings at the end of the day. So to bestow on us anything more than that is something extraordinary. And this is why we sort of look at things and people like astronauts and celebrities and things like that, because we see things in the papers, the newspapers, magazines, news channels. We see extraordinary stuff going on, and we want to compare ourselves to them when realistically that's just not what is going on. We like to be simple. We like to be simple. We like to be simplistic. We just have our own household, our nest, and just build upon our nest.
I know, Simon. It's women that complicate things, right? And guys are fairly simple. It's us women that tend to complicate things. And I want to touch on the point what you said. A lot of women like direct communication, and that sounds good. A lot of women say they want the truth. But when man gives them the truth, they can't handle the truth.
Well, look,
And that's why, and that's what, go ahead, Gary.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, Grace, but I mean, it's, when
No,
a
it's
woman
okay.
comes across, the thing is, when a woman comes across a man that has emotional intelligence, it becomes very problematic, right? Because, it forces them to really pay attention to what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're acting. Because a man that's emotionally intelligent, he's not, he's gonna respond in a different manner, right? He clearly understands, the dynamic and the situation, but he's gonna talk to her in a direct manner that's gonna, that is gonna make her, I don't want to say it's going to shock her, but it's really going to hit her at her core, because here is a guy that's actually speaking emotional sense, and because men are logical, we sort of break it down, right? And when I say break it down, understanding how a woman's emotion works, particular to a situation.
Okay, Greg. If I can respond to what
You're
saying.
absolutely right. Look,
Go right ahead. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There are, there's not one particular type of woman. Unfortunately, for a lot of, in particular, black males, we come across a particular type of black woman, and we cast our net and think that's everything. I am in touch, in contact with, and have family that don't operate like that. They don't. They're not on YouTube. They go about their everyday life, and they're ordinary people. And it's kind of interesting how we keep having these conversations around what we do, have these conversations around. And I think it's poignant for a fact. The fact is we're helping people, we're supporting people, and we're increasing the understanding of what our relationships are within our communities, what we yearn to do. And this is how I even came into this space. But right now, I'm speaking to a couple of black women across the globe, and they're on some next level. They're speaking about stuff about bringing our community together. Very intelligent stuff, like how we can sort of cooperate, how we can do better than we did before. And I find that highly interesting. I don't want to drag it on too much, but I find that highly interesting, because sometimes we could be too much in our pocket.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And my boy Truth always put truth on the table. He's telling everything. But you got to change that. I would say most women, not all women, True. We're not all like that. And you got to give a shout out to the good ones, because there's still some of us around. But I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see it for myself. So, it's so frustrating. I'll answer the phone at work, and a conversation that could have took 10 seconds took her 45 seconds to just get to the meat of the sandwich. Let me know what's going on, but I gotta hear the whole details from A to Z. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is this how we are? Is this what men gotta put up with? I'm sitting I'm looking at like 5 other customers. They're looking at me on the phone, and she's trying to explain something. It could have took 10 seconds, and I'm like, okay, no problem, man. You could just come in and return. It's like, I get it, True. I get it. They like the idea of direct communication, but then when they get it,
it's like bagging up your your groceries at the supermarket. Like when you're at checkout, know your groceries at the supermarket. Do you get some help, or do you want to do it by yourself?
No, exactly. And that's funny because that's exactly what my other job is at a supermarket. And that's what it took her 45 to a minute to tell me something. Oh my God, lady, just come and pick it up. It's okay. So then Braxton said, like, Shahava, yes, I love that lady. That lady foresaw everything that's going on today. She talked about it in the 70s.
Oh yeah, no, she has great work.
About is
you read that comment out?
Yes, she does.
That's kind of important. It's like Shahard Ali, Crimson Cure. I'll give
Crimson Cure.
She has great work.
And now, yep, she's good too.
Rihanna Azan too. Yeah, I mean, wow, yo, people be
I like her.
Yeah, I mean, it's important that people read.
You guys got to check out Shalakemia too. Shalakemia, that's my girl. Shout out to her. She is the epitome to me of a Black queen, because she's out here in the YouTube streets protecting and defending and advocating for the Black men. And what's really messed up, see, I'm used to it. Simon, I'm used to the pushback. Oh, you're not Black enough. You don't know what's going on in our community. You're a pick-me, you're weak. But this is a Black sister, and she get bad. I felt so bad for her when they threatened to take her channel away. They threatened to, they were trying to find out where she lived. It got that bad where women just didn't want to take, I always try to say, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if something touched you and touched a nerve and made you feel some type of way, then maybe you need to look within yourself, because it took me a while, I have to admit it, but criticism is healthy, because it allows us to see how we can become better people. Of course, with me, I can take criticism, but it's all in the approach. Come at me, rah, 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 because I'm going to shut down. I'm not going to listen, and I don't do yelling. I don't. But there's a difference when you sit me down and you talk to me and say, look, I think you should have went about this way. Or I think it would have been better if you would have handled this way. Whereas if you're yelling at me and crying, and what did the great Kevin Samuels used to say? If you're using sign language, and yes, men do use this, because I'll sit there and I said, okay, there's the shame. Okay. There's the insult. There it is. There's the guilt. You know what I'm saying? Up. 3, 2, 1. Up. There's the need to be right. That you're not gonna get cooperation from anybody, male or female, if your approach is coming at them in a hostile way. You're just not. Most people will shut down. Most people are gonna clap back. Most people are going to yell. When I was younger, I would clap back, but now I've just learned to, I pick and choose my battles. Is it worth it? Do I value that person? Do I value that relationship where if I clap back or say something I might regret that I keep back? That takes it takes therapy, it takes discipline, it takes counseling, it takes healing to be able to get to the level that I'm at. I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. But I sit back first. I don't listen to respond. I listen and interpret, which is funny, Gary and Simon, because our show next week is about communication and effective communication. A lot of people talk, and they talk a lot of shit, but they don't effectively talk their talk. They don't effectively know how to talk. So me and Gary always preach about having those important conversations, communicating. So I say, you know what, Gary, since we bring it up on the show, we need to have a basic 101 on communication, because a lot of people don't know how to communicate, Simon. We are living in a social media world. We have become awkward. We are socially awkward. We can't even have a face-to-face conversation anymore. Everything has to be through text or instant messaging or things. And look, I had to be checked about that too. I was a texter because I work on the phones all day. I don't want to come home and have to talk on the phone. So when I see that a conversation is getting out of hand, or I see that you're not understanding what I have to say, Gary, I do that with you all the time. When I see that we're not understanding each other, or we're going back and forth much, I say, I don't have the energy to do this. I'm just going to pick up the phone and call. And that's what we need to do more of. We need to do more of, because when we interpret things through a text, it could be totally different what I was talking about, and you totally interpreted it a different way. But we're going to leave that for next week's topic, because that's chock full of information, because that's a lot of information that we're going to have to learn. And then Braxton came back and said, yes, the people that are bringing up Braxton are all good, and Pink Lessons be discussing good topics too. Absolutely, I do subscribe to her as well. So shop Pink Lessons. And then Shahara, I don't know, I have a trouble pronouncing her name. How do you say her name, Gary?
Shahara Aziz.
I always just call her Ali. Okay, there you go. Shahara Aziz Ali been doing this since the late 1980s and early 90s. She and Ayala back in 1990, and she was one of the guests, and Ayala was in the audience. Yes, I think I watched that show too, but the thing that I'm noticing with Ayala is she tends to quiet the men too much. I watched the clip on the show, and the man was trying to express himself, and right away she jumped on him and said, oh no, we're not going to do that here. What do you mean we're not going to do that here? The whole point is to communicate. But because it didn't feel comfortable to the women, she shut it down. And that should be. And that's what we are guilty of as women. We want to try to shut the men down when they're talking, when all they want us to do is listen.
As I was saying, that's a part of a man having emotional intelligence, right? And some women, they don't want to hear that. Like, they could talk all this other stuff, but when they get a man that actually could speak with emotional intelligence, they're not ready for that.
Not only are they not ready for that, they're not used to that. That's why they're not ready for that, because they're not used to it, Gary.
They want to be, and I've said this before, so many of them, not all, but so many of them, they've been brought up in toxic relationships, right? Or they've witnessed toxic relationships or toxic communication. So clearly that has become a part of them, and that has become their normal.
Yeah. And they don't know anything else. And they feel comfortable.
I have a question. How does that happen? How do women end up in toxic relationships?
Well, could be from their upbringing, right? Because if they see how their mom and dad, or how their mom is communicating, or how their dad is communicating, a lot of them take that on, right? Look at that. Look, I had a friend of mine who, she grew up watching her dad abuse her mom. She wind up getting into an abusive relationship herself, and this was this was maybe about 20 years ago. She wound up leaving the relationship, and her and I were talking, and she was telling me what was going on. And one day she broke down and cried and said, the reason why, because I said, I asked her the simple question. I'm like, why did you stay in this abusive relationship? She said, she broke down and cried and said, because she thought he loved her. So when he beat on her, she thought that was part of him loving her. And she went on to say, that's what she saw her dad do to her mother. So my thing is like, how many other women is out there that experience that?
It's
Right?
learned
So because
behavior, and that's called the
it's a
battle
learned
women
behavior.
syndrome.
Right. So it's clearly not healthy, right? It's clearly not healthy, but that's a learned behavior, right? Now there's some people who, you know, there's some men and women that may grow up like that, but they know, okay, you know what? That's bad behavior. I'm not going to be like that, right? I'm not going to be like that. I grew up in a household where my stepdad abused my mom. I didn't turn out to be an abusive man, but my two stepbrothers did, right?
You're not an abusive man.
Excuse me?
You're not an abusive
No, that's what
man.
he said, Simon.
Yeah,
that he's
no,
not
no,
being
I'm not. No, I'm not an abusive man, but I'm saying I grew up in a household where I saw my stepdad.
You don't have a temper.
Huh?
Do you not have a temper?
I have a temper, yeah, but I know how to direct it. I don't.
In a relationship where you've exercised that temper.
How do I exercise
Have you
that?
ever been in a relationship or in your present relationship where you've never exercised that temper?
I've argued, but I've never took it to the point where I'm going to hurt like physically hurt the person or make the person scared of me, right?
So you've got levels.
I have levels.
Do you have levels?
Okay, I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
You've never been in a situation in your present relationship where you have exercised anger, okay?
I've exercised anger. Yes, I've exercised anger.
So to what levels?
To what level? I've exercised anger to a point where I've yelled, but not to have hurt someone.
Why did you need to yell?
Oh, he's
What did I
peeling
need
that
to
onion,
know?
Gary.
Why?
No.
I'm just
No,
interested.
No, I'm at like I just want to be clear on what he's saying so I can answer accordingly.
Okay, I'm
Absolutely,
repeating what I'm saying. So why did you need to yell? If you needed to exercise anger in your relationship, this is very important. It's just for the external people that are watching. It's not personal.
No. I'm not taking it personal. I'm not taking it personal.
Because everyone goes through this sort of stuff. We get into relationships, and in the first instance, and I'll put some context around it. So in the first instance, let's say, for example, we meet when we're dating. You don't know the person. There's no emotional contact. There's no physical contact. There's no discussion around any of that apart from just getting to know somebody. Then we get a bit deeper. Okay, we make contact, and it's like, okay, maybe over the phone, maybe over the internet in this modern day and age, and it's like, okay, we're going to get together. We may have a meetup that may be at the house. It may be somewhere else. It may be somewhere more personal. We get more personal as it goes along. Okay, now we're engaging. We're in a relationship. Okay, every day someone's talking about this or that, and it's like, we have these conversations in the back end, whether it be like sort of like over the phone or personally, like in contact, like one-to-one. I had this experience recently. Like I had a girl, I'm speaking to a girl right now, and she turned around to me and she was like, well, why didn't you contact me last week? Or why didn't you contact me yesterday? Like, you know what we're involved with, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't even thinking about it. You get what I'm saying? I was just like getting on with my business. But this is the emotional connections we have. And whether that's over the internet or like physically, it makes no real difference. I think a lot of people want to differentiate it and go, okay, but you can literally meet somebody over the internet. And that's why e-dating has become such a big thing, because you can swipe left or swipe right and try to meet your partner, and suddenly you have a stranger in your house, and you don't know what's going on. So moving on from that, okay, When
Okay. Yeah.
get to the
Okay.
point.
Okay.
When
I'm listening.
All right, cool, bro. You see, I ain't against you. I'm just.
Bro, no, listen, we have a respectable conversation. It's all
Right.
good. It's all
So now you get to the point where you've actually got beyond the conversation where it's just like, oh yeah, we're chopping up over the internet, or we're just having these little minimal conversations, and you've met somebody. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? The only reason you're doing that is because you're thinking, okay, this could potentially be a relationship. This could, but then you're in your feelings, because prior to that, and what many people don't want to realize is because people get tinkles, and people don't want to be real with this sort of shit. Like you're not gonna engage with someone unless you're getting tinkles. It's just not happening. Things happen. You get what I'm saying? Emotional intelligence goes out of the wall, and it's just like, oh yeah, I know this person, I feel this person, I want to get to know this person more. Maybe this person could be in my house. Oh, you get these thought processes. It's like, oh, maybe we can build. Actually, maybe this person can move into my house, right? And then
You're
Right.
you might move that person into your house. It's just like, that's just emotional connection, human
Well-
interaction, and basic
well, yeah.
premise.
No, listen, I totally understand people having the emotional connection, and things like that can happen over the internet, and shit, we're in this whole new world where the majority of relationships are happening over the internet, right? This is just how it is now. What I'm what I'm saying is that when I've argued in the past, or I've gotten a temper, it was because of the person I was dealing with, and all of that had already we already had established something. And when I got, something happened where I had to raise my voice, but it wasn't to the point of making that person scared of me. It was like more so like I'm the type of person, if I explain something to you and you tell me that you don't understand it, and I explain it to you again, and you tell me that you don't understand it, I'll still explain it to you. But the moment you tell me that you understand it, right, and then you come back at me later with some bullshit what I done explain to you, then of course I'm going to get mad.
Yeah, but I mean, do men really understand? And I talk in general senses most of the time. Do men generally understand that just simply by raising your voice to a woman, that is really problematic? It can, women do not have the same stance as men. And this is not like a simp thing. I'm just saying, like, realistically. If you're not capable, hold it for a second. If you're not capable, I respect you, bro. If you're not capable of understanding what your temper is, do not let a woman into your house. Because that can lead to so many different things just by you raising your voice. Because that woman might not be susceptible to that. I have a daughter, and if a man ever raised his voice to her, there would be problems in a matter of seconds for every party, all over the place. You get what I'm saying? And I think sometimes when we engage in relationships, especially with adults, and I don't think it's our fault. I've done it in my past as a teenager. We forget stuff. We become adults and we're so in our own lives. We have to pay our bills. We have to go out and work, and we have to do things that children do not have to do. And we get so entrenched in all of that. And I can relate to what you're saying, because at the same time, I've been in that situation. I was screaming and shouting at a woman the other day. Like, I would say like a year ago, that was my ex-wife, screaming and shouting at her. And I felt like a fool, to be fair, because I enabled it. And I enabled me being a fool. So sometimes we just need to sort of pull back. And no one really is talking about that sort of stuff. So I appreciate you for allowing us to have this conversation.
Oh no, I think this is a great convo, and I think that, you know, it plays into what I shouldn't say play. It falls into what our topic is of this evening, and the type of men, you know, the type of male personalities, right? And I think that's something important for people to understand. Now, clearly, every man, you know, some qualities can be hybrid, right? So, you know, there can be a man that could have zeta qualities, but also have alpha qualities. So it's, you know, everything is not one size fits all, but at least have a basic understanding. And what I feel is that most people don't have a basic understanding, right? They don't take the time out to have the conversations to develop just a basic understanding of each other if they're going to get into something, or even maybe want to entertain the idea of getting into something with each other, right? And I think that's where a lot of people fall off nowadays, and I think that's where a lot of problems happen, because, you know, if the proper communication and understanding happened, then the shit relationships that is out there or people be complaining about wouldn't be going on, right? But clearly,
I don't think there's 7 types. I think there's 1 type. And the thing is, I think, you know, when you're talking about alpha, there's 1 alpha. There's no sort of deviation from that. Is that true?
Now I have a question, Gary. Before I introduce you, I have a quick question so I don't forget it. What made you different from your stepbrothers that you conditioned not to put your hands on women? What was it about you? You know, because that's each brothers are like that. Or you didn't turn out to be that way. Was it something that you consciously had to decide, or it was just something natural in you?
Yeah, definitely. I saw my mom.
I mean, that question was for Gary. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So with me, I was always told that I had an old soul. Right? So I was always told ever since I was small that I had an old soul, and that I was, I guess, more mature for my age. And I feel that when I saw what was going on with my stepdad and my mom, even as a young kid, I knew that was wrong, right? I just knew that was wrong. You didn't, if you're married to someone, you don't treat them that way. You don't hit on them. You don't, go out drinking and start doing crazy shit. So at a young age, I knew that was wrong. So that just, I think, rubbed me the complete wrong way, where him and I were oil and water, right? So as I got older, I just didn't want anything to do with him or be like him and stuff like that. So whenever I had my relationships with the women that I dated, it was never nothing like how he treated my mom. However, my stepbrothers, my older stepbrother, he was very abusive to his 3 wives. My younger stepbrother, which is interesting, he grew up very quiet. Like he was a quiet kid up until his mid-20s. But his first baby mother, he beat the shit out of her. So he took qualities from his dad.
What
I hear
the
you.
question I have
I
for you
hear
is,
you.
why do you differentiate?
Hold on, Simon.
yourself?
Hold that thought, Simon. I got to introduce True to the panel.
No
True,
worries.
how are you, sir? I knew you couldn't help yourself. I
I
knew
don't think
you
you
were
could.
gonna come up
True,
here
true. What's
tonight.
that
Go ahead and
I literally be trying.
go ahead
Sometimes
and
I.
introduce yourself.
Hello, panel.
I
hello,
made sure I
world.
was looking for you today.
No, it's fine. True Table. You can find me on YouTube. I do content as similar to the space. I'm just here to add to the conversation. Hopefully, I'm a man's advocate. Relationship advocate. So that's what I'm about. But I was hanging back in the chat. Sometimes I just do my best not to say something, but I heard something that the gentleman, I think it was Simon, said that I found to be very, very interesting. So hello, sir. I did appreciate the accountability that he was trying to hold Gary to, as well as men. However, what put me off a little bit was the fact that he said if a man was to raise his voice at my daughter, there would be problems. And so I guess I'm curious under the context of what that would mean. My assumption would be that if a man was around your daughter, she probably would be entertaining him in the capacity of a relationship. And I would hope that if you did your job as a father, that she would be able to recognize changes of temperament. So maybe I'll ask you, what did you mean by there'll be problems before I go further?
Yeah, that's quite an interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is most women in those situations are vulnerable. And regardless of what you think of it or not as a man, most times, I would say 8 times out of 10, if your daughter encountered a new individual, which would be a stranger, who raised their voice towards her, and they were not used to that, they would think about who they could speak to about that. And if you as a father wasn't that person, then they're going to speak to a stranger. And this is what leads to problems, because women are out here and they don't know who to turn to. So you need to understand that if you have a daughter, which I don't know if you have or not, if you have a female sister, whether I do not know if you do or not, there are things they encounter and they need someone to speak to. And if you're not that person, they turn to the next person, which may be that person that becomes a bigger problem than you want it to be. And, I've encountered this not just with my daughter, but my ex-wife. I divorced her. And this YouTube thing has been real for me, because she has literally been for the streets. And I'm not even joking about it. She's literally out on the streets right now.
Now with
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear it as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I get the phone calls, and I'm having to explain to her daughter what exactly is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. When I started hearing those sort of slogans and all the rest of it, I was like, I don't know what that means, But then, I literally experienced it, and I'm literally experiencing it. So
I'm definitely sorry to hear that, brother. What I will speak to, so we don't go too personal, to your own life and your experience. Okay. I'll speak to what I believe to be true, and this is just my opinion. I think that sometimes men, males, whatever you want to call them, do not give women enough credit. And I've seen this time and time again, that as a protective man in a father position, it is a man's job to educate his children. It's a man's job to educate his daughters, his sons, and anybody who's under his tutelage. I think sometimes we don't understand the transition from a young girl to a woman because it is very different. A girl is to be protected. A girl is to be covered. A girl is to be encased in a lot of ways until she gets to a place of maturity. Well, now you have to start to level her up in her development. That you're transitioning her and preparing her to be a woman, to be a wife for someone one day. That is actually a showcase of your development as a man. So as I do not necessarily endorse that a man should be mistreating a woman that is in a relationship with her, I would tell you, if a man ever told me that I'm presenting myself and my life and my future to him as well as his daughter, if a man ever told me that if you raise your voice at my daughter, we have problems, me and that man would have problems. Because one, man to man, you have to understand what my temperament, position, character, tutelage, journey, and all of those things collectively would encompass. And I would assume, and if I'm doing my job correctly, because I've told women this, there are certain levels of reaction that you get from men. The physical is the least level of vibration. This means that this man, if he doesn't have parameters of discipline, that means that he doesn't know how to contain himself. The vocal inflection using octaves to command maybe attention, to command maybe focus is actually a higher level of cognitive practice. It's actually used in the military and a lot of other positions throughout society because it is common that the human mind tends to register things that have a very impactful sound. You can talk to a woman all day softly, and what you'll find oftentimes is not that they don't listen, but they don't tend to remember that stuff. What they tend to remember is instructions. So that I'm saying. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Like the thing is like, you see, like the way you're talking, it really belittles women. It's like there's an assumption that like women is stupid or something. Like women are stupid. Like they are as intelligent as men, more so in some cases. And the thing is like we talk like we need to mollycoddle women, and women need to be this thing that's like some teddy bear that we had when we was 3 years old. No, they're not that. You know, I mean, and I don't look. I'm not trying to be some sort of like simple whatever. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, I know some women that'll beat the face off you, like in one instance, and in another instance, they will fulfill your whole needs.
Well, I would argue that those are women.
Men can't do that sort of thing. Men are linear. Men are circular and clinical. Men go out and they just do their job and they get what needs to be done. And that's why we have respect for men. But you can't turn around and sort of go, okay, you know, like women are this and women are that, especially if you have not been around a whole heap of women. Because the only reason why I speak about women in a certain type of way is because, you know, I've got women around me and they tell me. So I'm not speaking from my perspective. I'm literally delivering what they're telling me.
Well, I respect that, and that's fair. I don't believe I said in any case that women are stupid. I don't think I ever conveyed that. I actually think women are very intelligent. What I was speaking to from my experience, and one thing I've learned about women is that you never listen to women about dating women because they have no clue what that looks like. I do know what it is to be a man and interact with women and be very successful with them in all different parts of the world. And what I have found is that when you give women a position to not understand that as a man, you do have a certain difference. It's just the way God wired us. We have.
Right, well, what's the difference?
Men by and large, usually have the capacity to assess danger, situation, environment. We tend to live a different experience throughout our life from the time we're little boys into our teenage years. If you're active outside, things of that nature. An average boy usually rides bikes, runs, play some type of sport. Our social engineering is completely different. Even the way we interact with men, we measure things differently, where women are nothing like that. Their environment is different, the way they perceive life. This is the reason why it's hard for women to even give you instruction and direction a lot of the time. This is not to say that they're not intelligent, but it has been proven that they are socially superior to men. Socially. When you talk about scale, when you talk about measurement, scientifically, it's not that they're incapable. It's just the way that their minds work. They're a little bit more fluid when it comes to vocalizing things, their emotions, in touch with humans, but they suck when it comes to other aspects of things. This is just the truth. And so it's not, and so I think that,
Yo, bro. So who was the person who provided the US with the landing point on the moon?
Well, if you want to really argue that, it was a whole bunch of engineers collaborating with women. So it wasn't just a woman, because it was a NASA program that was centered around men, if I'm not mistaken. I do know what you're referring to, but I believe NASA was built by men. The engineering was also built by men, and there was a woman who took information that she learned from men and then
learned from them. Okay. All right, cool. I understand you, true man.
Okay, so wait, hold on. I need a timeout. I need a timeout because I'm a woman and I'm gonna come and tell you this. First of all, yes, I did say that I don't do too well with yelling, but you see how Gary communicated, and he said, "Look, if I'm trying to explain something to you, and I tell you once, and I tell you twice, and you tell me they understand, and then you turn around, you really don't understand," I can't get mad at him for yelling at me, because he communicated with me that that's what's going to be the cause and effect. My issue is yelling at frivolous things. I can handle yelling because tone is everything. Tone will let me know if that man is serious about the topic that he's bringing to me. It's just like when you train a dog. You can't tell the dog, "Oh, Fido, go ahead, sit." When you're training a dog, they listen. I mean, I'm not trying to compare a woman to it's all in the tone. How do you know that man is serious about the topic he's bringing to hand by the tone of his voice? If he's coming to me soft-spoken, but it's something serious of the heart, I'm not going to be able to take him seriously, Simon. And maybe that's because I grew up with a Sicilian father. He didn't play shit. So when I knew when he was serious about something, because yes, he would raise his voice.
My first daughter is half Italian. You hear that?
We can't coddle women. That's why they're out here being.
Did you just hear what I said?
Assholes.
You just hear what I said?
We and on pistols like this. This is a channel. I advocate for men, Simon. I'm not putting up with the bullshit that women do.
I advocate for men as well.
They're not listening. Even if you talk to them,
we've got to be clear and honest, and have a debate and have a conversation. That's all it is. It's not a hero thing. I don't profess to be any better than anybody else, but I'm just saying my first daughter is half Italian.
I think that if a woman is
you know what I get, like,
look at my last live. Look at my last live.
And I will definitely go check your channel. Hold that thought, True. If Gary yells at me because I left my socks on the floor and goes crazy over that bullshit, that's where I'm gonna get upset. But if he yells at me because I went out and got tipsy and got behind of a wheel and wrecked the car, and after he makes sure that I'm okay and everything is good, and he yells at me, that's warranted. Because I did something dumb. Now I've caused a family to lose a vehicle. Now we have financial hardship, when all I could have done was call him to come pick me up or call the Uber. You see, there are times where it is warranted, where a man should raise their voice. But it's the men that raise their voice for every little thing, and frivolous things is where that irks me.
Yeah, and I'm totally traditional.
understand what-
but
you
that's
understand
just
what
my
I'm saying?
life. That's just my life. I'm totally traditional. Like, but you know, I don't sort of impose myself on other people, and I'm really up for just having just different conversations about it. In my real life, if I have a wife, I'm totally
Absolutely.
traditional.
And
And I'd love someone like you. If you could walk into my house right now, I'll be like, okay, game over. You get what I'm saying? But it's just that's not what we're encountering. You know, we're encountering the differences, and that's the discussions that we're having. And you're beautiful, young
Let
man.
me
all right,
just
so let
okay,
me get
if I
to
could-
these comments because they're pot. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead, and then I'll get to the comments. Go ahead.
All right, no, I was just gonna say that I think that
I don't want
you
you
know
to lose
when
your
it
thought
comes
of train.
right when it comes to the yelling, right? So there are men that, in terms of what Grace said, that will yell at frivolous things, right? Who will just yell straight off the bat, right?
Mhm.
For whatever happened, right? They'll just yell, and clearly, in my opinion, that's unacceptable. And clearly, you know, there's going to be some women that's going to have issues with that. Now, again, because me being the logical person that I am, my yelling, if you will, or me raising my voice is going to come after I've talked to you. And if you've said to me that you understand what I've said and made me understand and make me understand that you've okay, Gary, I understand this. No need to worry about it, what have you. And then you and you come back to me later with the issue of the same thing that you told me that you understand. Like, yeah, that's gonna make me angry. And I think I have a right to be angry, right? So to me raising my voice is gonna come from at least me communicating you to, so you can't say, oh, I didn't tell you, I didn't warn you, you didn't know, I didn't take the time. Like, and listen, women, you know, most women, they like to say these things. Oh, the man didn't tell
They
me.
do that bullshit.
Or he didn't know, he didn't tell me, he didn't talk to me, I didn't know. Like, that doesn't work with me. Because if I take the time out to talk to you and explain to you, and see, I'm the type of guy, I don't have a problem explaining maybe 2 or 3 times. But when you tell me that you understand and you got it, and I don't have to worry, and then you want to come back to me later on some bullshit with it, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah, but that's kind of stupid. Like, to be fair, like women
Well, bro,
don't.
how many women are like that?
Women don't speak the truth to you in the way that you would understand it. Like, if they're turning around and going, you know, I'm angry, you've got to figure out psychologically what she means by that, because women don't correspond in the same way that men do.
What
Or
about
else-
her figuring out?
See, here's the thing. See, okay, here, and I hate to cut you off, but see, here's the thing. Communication, right? If you're upset at me, tell me, right? If I'm mad at you, I'm gonna tell you. Like, it's not fucking rocket science.
It's not, but give me an example where it's happened before.
But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, it's not. It's, to me, it's simple, right? If you're upset at me, tell me. If I know I did something to upset you,
Don't say
then
what's-
okay.
If he asks wrong, express it. If Gary says what's wrong, most women say, "Oh, nothing. Nothing's wrong." There's something wrong. How is he going to know it's wrong if you don't communicate it? Are men supposed to be fucking mind readers?
I was just gonna say that.
It's like, come on.
I'm not a mind reader, right? I'm not a mind reader, so you need to open your mouth and tell me what's bothering you so I can help you fix it. Because me being your man or being in love with you, if you're telling me what's wrong, I'm going to want to know so I can help you fix it.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
How do you do that though? Do you like do a promise note, or do you put like a sign on the fridge, or do you like get flowers and like, you know, what do you do to make that happen?
What do I do to make it happen?
on, Gary. Before you answer that, let me get to these
Go.
comments. Oh, hold on,
Go
Gary.
ahead,
Hold
Grace.
on. So Black on Both Sides says one of the most confusing things to a woman in this day and age is a man who won't argue with her. Absolutely right.
But see,
You're
okay,
absolutely
stop,
right.
stop.
And then
But see, toxic behavior.
Go
That's
ahead.
toxic behavior.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hold on. These comments been sitting here for so long. Then, well, that was just me saying like, subscribe, and share. And then you see, Grace almost said the same thing. Damn, my comments are not coming through. I'll tell you, boy, that one's been stuck on there for so long. It won't stick. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. Oh, Wally's here too. Hold on.
Wally, come on, man.
Oh my
We
God,
need
look
some
at all these
insight.
comments we've been missing. That means we don't. I need some more moderators in this room because I'm piled up, but it's not clicking for me. So
Delegate,
Wally,
man.
if you're in the room, can you click on the comments for me? Because they're not working.
All right, let me go look. Okay, all right.
I can't. That one's been stuck on there for so long. I mean, Gary, can you get in there for me? If you're able to.
Yeah. Let me go look. Hold on. Let me get in. Hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Grace.
Tuesday. I think
Grace said something.
Wednesday. What's
There
up,
we go.
Chew,
It's
man?
coming through now.
You've been spitting some stuff
Hold on.
over the internet, man. I love your stuff, man. You pull up just when
Oh
it's
yeah,
ready.
he's awesome.
He's cool, man. He's just really cool.
He is so
Okay,
wise for
yeah.
his age.
Well,
That's
no,
cool.
this is the thing. There's
Hold on, I
many
think
black
a
men
lot of-
out here that truth. It's just few and far between up on these YouTube streets. That's a kind of different thing. But you know, it's what it is.
No, Grace, I think you got it all.
What do you mean? No, there's a lot of comments.
No,
You
I'm
see how
look.
they're kind of stuck between each other?
Okay, so hold on a second. Where we're at?
Oh, that's
What's the
that's
last
right,
one?
Wally. You're right.
Empress, where did you get that name from?
I need to get Grace's comment. She made a good comment. Oh, she's coming up because I get it. Some women do need to be checked, Simon. They out here running around reckless and they no home training from home because they had no male figure at the house. So that's what a man does. He leads. He brings structure. He brings discipline.
Facts.
That's why most women don't even know how to man because they've never been around a man. The first time they've ever really engaged with a true man is if they went to college or if they started working at an early age. You know, that's why people had a problem with Kevin Samuels. Oh, his approach. No matter how times you approach a woman, they're always going to find an issue with something that the man does. And I'm sick of that.
And it's really, you know, I think for men, it's really
as women.
I don't think like. I don't think men have a problem with women. I just think
I'm trying to add you on, Grace.
It's just disappointing. Like my ex-wife, she's literally in the streets right now, and I've got nothing to do with it. You know, and it's like, why do you want to do that? Why can't you just cooperate? Why can't you just look after your child? Why can't you just, you know, be the wife that you said you were going to be when you took your vows? Why can't you just, you know, be not even the wife, be the girlfriend? Just show up and,
Grace, come back
you know,
out and go in. Oh, she's in.
you know, but women in this modern day and age is just a bit terrible. Like, and it's kind of scary to be, for me anyway. I feel, you know, I don't want to be the single father. Why do I want to do that? You get what I'm saying? We entered into a partnership and an agreement. you know, above God. And it's just like, God damn, you know, you want to turn around and do this extra stuff and prove that you want to go out there and get a next man. It's like, oh, men come to me. I've got all this sort of, you know, access to this, that, and the other because men pay attention to me. And it's just like, it's not about the man and woman thing. It's really just about us getting together. Do you get what I'm saying? And that was the whole point of us being married in the first place. I would have thought that if you had that thought process, that would have made sense in the first instance. It wouldn't have been a complication. It would have just been sort of like, oh, you understand that you're getting married, right? We're not in the playground anymore. You know what I mean? This is not just like we're hand in hand and we're sort of trying to figure it out in life. You get what I'm saying? It's not 50-50 collaboration. Like in that sort of sense, we're getting married, you know, and now it's about us being in the partnership and actually sort of involving ourselves in things. You're saying you want to turn around, you know, give up your womb. That's a big deal. I said to her, like, straight up, you know, once you cross that line, it's over. Forget anything else. Forget it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll keep chatting and praise. But it's just,
No,
I was
you're
like,
good.
look,
You-
like, once you cross that line, it's over. Once you give your womb over, it's over, man. Don't play that. Don't play that. Like, like these girls be out here like, oh yeah, I could do anything and do everything, and it's just like, yo, you cross that line. It's like being a celebrity. You are the celebrity. And most women, after they have birth, now after they have children, they want to go and show their children to their families. So that I equate that to that. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship and you've had your first child, but what happens a lot of the time is it becomes a show factor. It's like, oh, I want to go over and show my cousins, my nieces, my nephews, I had this beautiful child. I was able to sort of like give birth to this child. You know, show it off to the family, show it off to the friends, and it is regardless of what job you're in. You could be in the highest profession. You could be a teacher, a professor, a lawyer, or anything else. But women on the baseline are grounded in terms of what their provision is on Earth. It's not really about sort of like everything in between. So when we get all this social media stuff and Instagram and all this stuff that's being shown, you damn well know if you contact one. Look, there's this girl called Mandy Sex, right? She was a former WWE women's wrestler. Go check out her Instagram now and see what she's doing. Like she's doing like the same snaps, but snaps and the other snaps. They're just trying to sort of intrigue people to get around her channel and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Former WWE, I think it was like NXT sort of like champion and stuff. But you gotta think.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
You leap over that career. What do you have left? Are you gonna have children? Are you gonna have a family? Is it gonna be something significant? You know, because that's the difference. You know, I mean, everyone could do something, and everyone has an ambition. It's like, I want to be the biggest this. But that can just last 2 minutes. You get to that point, it's like, it could just last 2 minutes. And then it's like, well, what am I going to do next? And then you got to get real with yourself, for real. Then you start interacting.
That kind of speaks on
What's up, Grace?
the differences. Hey guys, the differences between men and women. I listened to everything True had to say, and I appreciate what you said, True, and I completely 100% agree with you, and in no way, shape, or form did I feel like you were belittling women. Did I hear anything stating that we weren't intelligent at all? Okay, when it comes down to it, and Grace knows I do this, like, it goes back biblical. First off, women are not being taught how to be women. Okay, we're taught, and I know that Grace can attest to this. We're so protected by our family, and we're taught what to look for in a man. Yeah, we're taught to make sure to get a man that's got money that can provide for us, but we are not taught how to treat a man. We're not taught, you know, how to have good character. Women are by nature, we take. Okay. Women think emotionally. And the way True was putting it, and this is one of the comments that I made, was the difference between men and women and how men think. A man's going to look at a situation. He's going to assess the whole situation. He's going to assess it logically. He is not going to be in his emotions. He's going to think about how any decision he makes is going to affect himself and everybody around, not just himself. And that's the main thing. Now, a woman is going to move in her emotions. She's going to act in a rash way. She's going to make rash decisions. She doesn't even have to know all, you know, every intricate detail. And the heart is deceptive above all things, but she's still going to follow her heart regardless of how deceptive it is. When it comes to men raising their voice in this day and age, because of the self-centeredness that women have, yeah, you absolutely. Sometimes men have to raise their voice. I didn't say raise your hand. I said raise your voice. Okay. Now, honestly, if a woman moved in the way that she should, then number one, she would know that you don't marry a man you can't trust 100%. And if I can trust you 100%, then I can respect you 100%. So when you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to respect moves in obedience. Okay. I'm going to trust that no matter what you tell me, it is for the better of our family unit. Okay. When you have women going out here working, it's, oh, my money and I got me and I'm independent and I can take care of myself. But yet men haven't faltered in their provision and their protection and their leadership. Men still go out to work and provide for others, not just themselves. There's a big difference there. And I appreciate that you're trying to be protective, especially when it comes to your daughter. But I have a daughter too, you know, and that's one thing that I see that is lacking is teaching women how to be women. And so I do sit with my daughter and teach her how to be a good character. Okay. When her brother has gone out and fixed the tire, he came in to double check with his grandfather. And it was, you know, so I would say double check with his grandfather had he, you know, if he had done it right. Now, when he went back out, he left tire marks on the carpet. And, you know, his grandpa was like, you need to clean that up. I grabbed her and said, let's go clean that up. And she said, well, I didn't make that mess. I said, no, but what he did was make sure that we're protected, that we don't get in a blowout, that we're safe when we're going down the road. So what we can do is be a helpmate and go clean that mess. And guess what? When he comes back in, you're going to make him something to drink and something to eat too. Okay. Women need to learn how to move correctly, because if a woman moved correctly, a man wouldn't have to raise his voice.
Mic drop. Alrighty then. Mic drop. Exactly.
I like you. Have you ever had someone tell you that?
Yeah. I think a little different. That's one thing, like, you know, even in like in the beginning, like, you know, it talks about the curse of women. It wasn't just bearing children. It says you will have desire over your husband. That did not mean you will desire your husband. When you actually look at the original word used and you dissect desire, that word, it means a woman will want to be in a position over her husband of authority. Okay. That's a curse. That's not our place. That's a curse. Okay. So we naturally just want to be the woman in charge, but we're supposed to deny ourselves and do instead the right thing, not what we want to do, but what we need to do. And women these days are not denying themselves of anything.
Can I ask you a question?
Do
you believe it's a curse?
It absolutely is a curse. Absolutely.
Why do you think it's a curse?
Well, look around. Women want to be boss chicks. Look at how many women.
Wait. I'm asking you a question, so I'd like for you to break this down. What's up, Woody?
Okay.
Because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you, by the way?
Oklahoma.
Have you lived in Oklahoma all your life?
No, I'm from Guam.
You're from where?
Guam.
I'm from the United Kingdom.
I can't hear you, True. Do what, Simon?
I don't know what Guam means.
It's an island in the Pacific Ocean. We're a tiny people.
Really small, probably like a mile all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know much about this, True? Because I don't.
Yeah, I've been to Guam several times. It is very, very tiny. But yeah,
Been twice.
Can you
Guam.
explain it?
It's pronounced.
It's like
Guam.
a miniature version of Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly.
Very small.
Exactly.
Well, we got to educate the public, man. That's what we're here for. And this lady's story has been very interesting. She, she's been through some stuff. So, but getting back to it, do you have children?
I have 4.
How did that happen? Are you married?
I'm divorced from their dad.
Okay.
They all have the same dad. I have 3 sons and 1 daughter.
Okay, cool. Are you with somebody at the moment, or is it solo?
No.
You're looking
No.
after the kids.
Honestly, right now I'm focused on my walk in Christ because I do have a past and I didn't always think the way that I think. I used to assert authority over the person that I was with. I did not trust and I did not respect and I did not obey and I did not submit. And I acted a whole entire fool. I was very combative. I was chaos, not peace. I was everything opposite of what a godly woman is supposed to be because I didn't know how to act like a woman. My mindset has changed being in the Word. And I actually study because I'm around, I not only have a daughter, but where I work, I'm always around young ladies that I work with that are in their teens, 16, 17-year-old young ladies. And women are supposed, just like men are to advise younger men, and how to move. It is also a woman's job to advise younger women. And I can't advise them well if I don't know what to do. So I've been celibate and single for 3 years, and I've actually been focused on my walk in Christ. And yeah, there's a lot that I have learned, and that is a curse. Because the word clearly states that a woman is supposed to submit to her husband, but yet we don't want to do that. We're rebellious in nature and we're takers by nature. And we can nurture a child, but even that's kind of getting washed through the mud. You know what I mean? That's even dissipating in women anymore. So it's just once it's not rallied in and a woman isn't, a young lady isn't taught how to move well as a woman, it's kind of just no holds bar. All bets are off. And now we have what we're looking at today. Women who are promiscuous, women who are, combative and just in no way like that. Women are the ones who call for divorce. And when I'm speaking on a man raising his voice, like I divorced my husband of 17 years for trying to kill me multiple times. So I was in a battered relationship, and I'm still sitting here saying that sometimes a man has to assert his authority and raise his voice. And I completely believe that. Now, again, if a woman moved the way she should, then a man wouldn't have to do that. That wouldn't be a necessity. You know what I mean? But we're not seeing that anymore. So it's just really important that we speak accountability, because men hold other men accountable immediately. Like that is, a man will tell another man when he's acting a whole entire fool, because it's like, man, you're misrepresenting us. But we, as women, we have this bogus sister code that's like, I'm just going to tell you, good job, sis, no matter what you do. Absolutely not.
You know what?
Sometimes the best way to love somebody sometimes causes an offense.
You
okay. And if I truly love somebody, then I'm going to cause that offense. If that offense means I'm going to yell and tell you you're about to get hit by a truck, move, then I'm going to yell and tell you you're going to get hit by a truck, move. I'm not going to say, go, sister, go, and watch you get hit by a truck. That's not love at all.
Guys, I don't know what was going on with my StreamYard, so I had to get in through my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I good? Okay,
Yeah.
so we good now. But guys, I really do. I've heard everything you guys are saying, and I appreciate the conversation. But as you can see, Simon, and I know this is your first time here, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate the conversation, and I hope you come back. But it's like we've been pointing fingers at men for so long that we need to start pointing the finger at women, because I really feel that the deterioration of our community, which is, it could be either black, melanated, brown, Hispanic, white, Asian, polka dot, Martian, whatever it is, we were made to be a family unit. Husband, wife, children. The children belong to the women belong to the man, and the man belongs to God. And we're so far from that's why we're so lost in the sauce. And I hate to use your wife as an example. If she would have followed that order of operations, she wouldn't be in the predicament that she is in right now. What is she trying to prove? You know, pride, pride is an awful thing. It could put you in situations like where she's at now, when she could have had a safe haven with you and be home with you and your daughter, but she chooses not to do so. And you know what? I don't know the whole history of your relationship, but from speaking to you tonight, I can bet that you've tried to do everything that you could to maintain the family unit. And you as a man you as a person can only do so much. I mean, was Grace supposed to stay with her husband until she got deleted? You know what I'm saying? Was I supposed to stay with my husband until he cheated on me the 10th time? You know, there comes a time when we do have to walk away, but we also have to take accountability in what part we took in the deterioration of our marriages. You know, it's like when I went to counseling and got the healing that I needed, I realized that there were a lot of things that I could have done better as a wife. There's no excuse for cheating, but I also didn't make his life easier either. But I've learned, you know, lesson learned. We're very amicable with each other. Thank God for the sake of our son. But I learned what not to do in the next relationship. I learned to be better. The only thing is the pickings are slim, especially for a woman my age. But that's okay.
Well, and women think that, for some reason, women think that taking accountability is weakness, and it's actually not. If you want, you know, the word says, you know, your strength is made perfect in my weakness. God does a lot with humility. He moves us in mighty ways. And when you're humble, you serve others. When you serve others, then others think about you. But if all I'm thinking about is myself, then ain't nobody need to think about me, and don't nobody want to think about me. You know what I mean? So there's power in humility. There's power in holding yourself accountable and growing and changing and being a better person. That there's nothing wrong with that. It's beneficial to you. You know, all the short gratifications that women are going after, you know, because they're missing all these key points and being honorable within themselves. I don't miss any short gratification because mine aren't short.
Grace, how many children do you have?
I have one, sir.
No, Grace.
Oh, Grace.
Oh,
okay.
4. We're both Grace. Sorry, 4.
I'm call me Embrace and call her Grace. So
you guys got the same name, right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
So I'm gonna have to go Grace and Grace.
Just call me Embrace and she's Grace.
You said you had one. I mean, I wasn't even talking to you, but that's interesting. I'll come back to that in a sec.
Okay.
So I was trying to embrace Grace. The second Grace 2. That's it. So like, okay, you said you had 4.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Is that the same guy?
Yep.
Or,
He didn't start being abusive until 13 years into our marriage.
I didn't even know about that. I'm sorry. You see what
Yeah.
what just happened there? You just started talking about abuse. I know.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you're good.
so you're separated.
No, Grace tells her story. She
Oh, yeah.
tells her story so other women can learn.
I'm crying. I'm sort of like talking to Grace from a new place, and like Grace is just Grace. Okay, like I don't care how many kids she's got, or whatever. I'm just trying to work it out. So yeah, you had 4 children with this guy. Okay, was you married?
I was married.
Yeah, and you're divorced.
Yes.
You're divorced now. So what's your plan?
My plan? I don't have plans for my life. I have made I'm devoted to walking in God's will for my life. I don't make plans for my life. I just walk in obedience with him.
So why is that? Is it? I mean, do you want another man to come into your life and embrace you and embrace your children?
If God so chooses that, that'd be great.
So what if I turned around to you and said, "Look, Grace, I like you. I like the way you look. Like, I don't even need to sort of figure shit out. Like, we don't even need to go on any dates or anything. Just by the way you're talking to me, let's get together, and I'll take you on and your 4 kids." Where's the father?
Oh, he lives a city away, less than 45 minutes, and he doesn't come around at all. My kids don't expect him
to have a problem with that.
I don't. My kids, like, I don't hinder it. But I mean, I'm not gonna keep making the drive to him with the kids. Like, he's the dad, he can come see them. I don't stop him from seeing them. He chooses not to. My sons are very well aware of his situation, and they're not disappointed by it. They know their dad. So they don't really trip on it. When it comes to having male figures in their life, I live with my parents, so they have my dad, and then I have 4 brothers that are very, very active and in their lives.
Okay.
So great. The first Grace, embrace. So I guess we're at the 10 o'clock mark now.
I know. There's my timekeeper. So usually, guys, my max is 2 hours. My max is 2.5 hours, and we are hitting 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I do really, really appreciate y'all comments. So we are going to finish out with our final thoughts. I'm going to go around the room. Gary, I'm going to finish with you last because you're my co-host. So I'm going to start with Simon, since you're the new kid on the block. Thank you for coming. I appreciate all your input. I hope that you become a regular. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. But give me your final thoughts on what we talked about tonight. I mean, I know we got a little bit off the subject, but that's okay. It was good subjects, so that's why I was going on. And Grace always graces me with her presence. So go ahead and give me some final thoughts, and again, let people know where we can find you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I love this platform. You know, this lady has been very refreshing. I think like there's been a lot of talk about the manosphere in terms of it's not going to exist anymore. But I think like with new faces and new sort of ideas and you know, personalities that come through, I don't think that's going to die any time soon. Talking about the 7 types of different men, I retract. I go back to the same thing. It's like, you know, I think there's just one type of man, and that's a conversation that could be continued. But, you know, I think moving forward, this could become a really big platform, and I appreciate you having me here. You know, just allowing me to just come up and have a conversation. I would urge the lady down with the 4 kids to get in contact with me. I'm on the Instagram. That's at Simon Hectic. I'm the
He's
switch.
I'm
embraced
usually
you,
over here,
Grace.
Simon. I don't have social media, bud.
Yeah, well, you know, my phone number is 07944.
Oh wow. Man, maybe yeah, he's taking his shot.
Contact with the lady, and then she's gonna get look. I'll take care of all of your children. Like F this nigga, I'll take care of them. I'm just saying. I'm Simon Hectic. My platform is the Food Channel. I am the Food Channel. We do mind food, old food, and new food, and you know, we're just trying to build something. It is a community. We are family, whether you want to know it or not, because you're involved. You tapped in, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree, and that's just what it is. So, thank you very much, my madame. I give you total respect, and you know, big things are going. You understand? I'm gonna get out of here because I'm gonna see you in the back chat, and I'm gonna continue to watch your channel. I'm gonna subscribe. Hit
I
the
just
link.
subscribed, Simon.
Boom. Hit the link. Do all of that sort of stuff, man. We're in. It's going. But
Thank
it's
you,
something.
Simon. True. Go ahead and speak your truth.
So, make sure she taps into me because I'm gonna save her.
All righty. I'm gonna have a dating show.
Making love connections out here. It's
I
crazy.
know, right? Embracing the grace. And that's the first one. It was grace.
That's funny. No, good topic. Thank you for having me up again. Just
Always a pleasure.
yeah, likewise. Definitely gonna continue to just rock out with the channel and be a part of the growth. But for those who are listening, just women, even men, do some self-assessment. If you're a man trying to figure out where you fall on this hierarchy, it never hurts to do an analysis on your mental, where you stand in life. Look at the choices you've made, look at your social circle, look at your past, and look at your present. There's nothing wrong with self-development. And for the women who want to continue to be able to identify these men, I think that you will do better by listening more, asking intentional questions. It may be even going against your own natural state. I find that a lot of times women pick the same guy. He may look a little different, he may, maybe talk mildly different, but we have an energetic draw to what we like. And if you don't change the way you perceive life, you're gonna pick the same guy. It's just, inevitable. Right. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for having me. You can find me on YouTube, same first name, same last name. And you guys have a great evening.
You too. Thank you, True. I always love it when you come up. I love it.
Oh, thank you. All right,
Grace, I don't know why you don't have your YouTube channel yet, and you need to, but that's okay. You can come up here anytime. Final thoughts on the topic and where we can find you, because we can find you on some shit. You can find you here on Embrace the Grace, but go ahead.
I enjoyed the information. But I'm gonna say what I've said before. Don't have expectations from others. Expect for them. Help them reach their goals. You give what you get what you give. So be somebody who is a servant and just watch the growth in that in your life, and just how that people move around you. You can't control others. You can't control the way that they act. But what you can do is control yourself. And when you start denying yourself of bad behavior and replacing it with good character and good values and just serving and loving others in humility, like, you will see people change around you. There is so much power in a woman that submits. Like, there is just an abundance of power that women don't realize is there. It is not the norm. It's easy to yell and scream and throw a fit and get what you want. It is not easy to deny yourself and do for others. So it takes a real boss woman to do that. I appreciate you having me, Grace.
Always, baby. And where can we find you?
here, the JBJ Network. And I do have a channel. I've posted a few shorts. I've shared my testimony, but my channel is specifically geared towards applying scripture in your life.
Okay.
Honestly, specifically, I mean, a lot of it is for women mainly, for young ladies to just tap into. I actually have a couple of interviews with my kids on there.
Oh, I'm
So,
subscribed already, Grace. I just got to click on that little bell. Okay. All
yeah.
righty. Well, Grace, thank you so much. I always love when you come up because you just bring a breath of fresh air. You know that this is a channel that advocates for men. You and me are on the same page, and if we could change the mindset of one young lady, then we've done our job.
Absolutely.
We can't save everybody, but if we could save a few, then we've done our God's work. Gary, my guy, my
Mhm.
co-host, my co-pilot riding in this soul plane. Go ahead and give me your final thoughts and tell everybody where we can find you.
So my final thoughts on the show topic, I mean, there's 7 different types of men. I think that one, I hope the women who see this program are going to understand the 7 different types of men. See what type of man that they're truly attracted to. Also, they got to take a look at themselves, right? See who they really are and see what the natural fit. Because, listen, you may be attracted to a beta male, right? Not saying that it's a bad thing, right? That may be a better fit. You may be attracted to an omega male, right? But you got to look at who you are and what are your qualities, what do you possess, and see which aligns with you better, right? Because I could tell you, a sigma male and an alpha male, they're not trying to deal with no combative woman. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And where you can find me. You could find me with Boardwalk Global Media. We do a podcast every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Currently, we're on hiatus, but we'll be back in mid-July. So stay tuned for that. We're on YouTube at Boardwalk Global Media. We're on Facebook, Boardwalk Global Media. We're on Instagram at Boardwalk Global Media. With The Real Discussion, we're on Facebook, The Real Discussion, and Instagram, The Real Discussion. So that's where you could find us. And again, thank you, Grace, for having me here. This was an awesome topic.
Yes, it was.
It's
Yes,
definitely
it was. And I got a couple topics out of this topics that I had to write down. So with my final thoughts, guys, as we learned tonight, there's many male personalities, and they differ from each other very much. And we learned here tonight that the main ones are the alpha, beta, gamma, delta, omega, and sigma. And all of them are unique in their own way and have different characteristics that determine them. But gentlemen, there are tests for you to take, like True was talking about, to determine what trait you possess. But just remember, ladies, simmer down with your unrealistic expectations. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Gary's not perfect. Grace is not perfect. True Table wasn't perfect. Simon is not perfect. But you're going to find yourself buying a dog, a rose, and dying alone if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. So like Gary was saying and everybody else, we have to look within ourselves. If you don't like the men that you're attracting, then you have to change your energy to change the attraction. So with that being said, we'll close out. If you guys liked what you heard and saw, please like, share, and subscribe. If you really liked what you saw and heard, support the channel. I have #Embrace the Grace 23. You can find me, of course, here on YouTube. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. And just remember, to all my embracers, my show is moving from Monday to Thursday, starting June 8th. I will be putting it out there. Gary's awesome people are helping me with a flyer, and I'll try the best that I can to remind y'all that I am moving from Mondays to Thursdays,
Right.
June 8th. Okay. And again, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the consistent support, Gary. Thank you again for so much. I really appreciate you. So with that being said, and again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. It wasn't me this time. It was StreamYard. But thank God, because, Gary, you see how the importance of you being an administrative is still kept running because you were in there. I was lost out there, but it still kept running. So with that being said, guys, take care. Thank you for coming, and see you next week. Basic 101 lesson on communication, effective communication. Talk to you later, Gary. Have a good night.